All right, welcome back everyone. Welcome back to 2020 Tableau from scratch. So we're gonna continue with making visualizations, making graphs, right? So I want to start with a very simple graph, the simple bar graphs, and then we'll move on to advanced visualizations later during the course, right? So we'll start with making simple bar graphs first. So I just wanted to take you through the data set first. I'll tell you where you can download it, and then you guys can follow along with me. Yeah. So this is the data set which we'll be using for this particular tutorial. This is the Summer Olympics medalist data set. This is from 1896 to 2008, right? So it's got the city of origin, like which city was the event held in, what is the edition. It's got some details on which sport, discipline, which country the athlete belonged to, what is the event, so on and so forth, right? It's got the event, gender as well. It's got the medal which that particular person won, so on and so forth. So this is exactly the data set which we'll be using. This data set is freely available in the Tableau public repository. I'll just provide a link to that particular data set in the resources section as well. All right, so we can quickly move on to creating data set. So the first visualization which I want to create here, the first thing which I'm interested in looking at here is, uh, you know, how many medals were won by each of these genders, right? Let's have a look at that. Or how many uh, males and females actually were there in all these throughout these years, right? That's gonna be a good visualization to look at. So I've just double clicked on the gender column and I've dragged it onto rows, and then I've dragged on the number of records, which essentially means like how many, the count, right? So this is a good start. So you got the men and women. You can see the stark difference between the number of men competing with the number of women competing, right? We'll understand why that difference is coming. We'll just add the marks. So if you go to label, double click on it, go to show mark labels, click on that, and then I'll just customize it, the alignment. I'll make sure that it's aligned properly. So here I can see that there are around 21,721 men who competed. Compared to around 7,495 women who actually competed in along these 50 years plus of data, right, in various sports. Now, I also wanna look at what are the different sports or disciplines which men and women popularly indulge in, right? So a good column which can give us that idea is the disciplines, right? See, we'll figure out how that segregation is working, right? So I'm gonna use the discipline column. So I'm gonna just drag it. I'm gonna just add another column over here. Oh, there's a lot of categories, right? Yeah. So as soon as I added the discipline column, there's a lot of events, right? There's a lot of categories. It does not make any sense for me at the moment to use this, right? One thing which I can try and do is sort it, right? I can sort it according to, so I can see here for men, athletics is where mostly people compete, and then comes rowing, and then comes artistic, swimming, fencing, so on and so forth. And for women, it is swimming first, athletics second. So that's an interesting trend over here. For men the main sport of interest is athletics, and for women it is swimming, right? And then comes athletics, then comes rowing, so on and so forth, right? uh yeah. So I think this is a good visualization to kind of figure out, hey, what exactly caused the difference between these men and women, right? So an interesting thing is to, if you want to compare it side by side, we can always just flip this, as in like we can interchange the rows and columns over here. So yeah, now let's have it, right? So side by side comparison, right? So you can see for athletics how many women there were, and how many men were there, right? So that's how you analyze quickly data using Tableau. You can use bar graphs, any kind of visualization which you guys want. But I just wanted to show you guys how you actually use bar graphs, right? Uh, so this is a quick use of bar graphs, right? Uh, I can also do another version of bar graph, right? So I can go to so this is event. I'm gonna just do discipline, right? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna sort it. right? I'm gonna add the marks. I'm gonna make sure that I've aligned it properly, right? Now here I want to see for athletics how many women were there and compared to how many men, right? So the gender-wise division. So I'm gonna drag the gender column and I'm gonna put it in color. Right, now this is giving me a better representation, right? So it's telling me that athletics is where you have the most number of contestants, and around two by thirds of it is men and one by third is women. And rowing is another one where you have almost four times the number of men as there are women, right? So this is a good representation to understand the gender bifurcation along these disciplines, right? Like athletics, swimming, rowing. So this itself is giving us a lot of insights, right? So this is how you can use different versions of bar graph to tell the story, right? You can use this version to tell the same story. You can use this version as well to tell the same story. It's just that it's represented in a different way visually, right? So this is how you make bar graphs. It's pretty simple. You just add it to, the measures and dimensions, and then you can quickly go ahead and get started. Right? So that's how you quickly make a bar graph. Thank you. Thank you, and I'll see you for the next tutorial. Thank you.